What's up, Magic fans? I'm Mikey, and welcome to episode 22 of Penny for Your Thoughts. We've got a cracking show lined up for you today. I'm joined by the gruesome twosome, Paul. Afternoon, buddy. Sorry to pull you away from the rugby.
No, it's all right, mate. It's on pause. I shall go back and watch the second half after this. More than happy to join.
And G, you good, buddy?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. Italy have just taken the lead, Paul.
Not believable, dude.
Love it. It's got to happen. And we are thrilled to be joined by Kyle, who's a YouTuber and a big Magic fan, who has a channel called View from the Cheap Seats. Kyle, for those who don't know who you are or what you do you want to explain a little bit about yourself and how you started your YouTube channel?
Yeah, sure. Well, again, I'm Kyle. We have a channel, View from the Cheap Seats, on YouTube. For some reason, people tune in to watch it every so often. We used to be a lot more frequent with videos. They've kind of tapered off a little bit over the last year due to, I think, more so COVID and everything. But we're based out of Orlando. We do some trips around the States, and we generally just share our experiences. We go to theme parks, concerts, sporting events, anything normal daily life at times too. And we engage with people that are interested in Orlando life or the places that we've traveled to and the events that we've gone to. So it's been a success, I guess. It always feels awkward, with other people. I think, after you start, and that they start watching you and they know more about you or in tune than, maybe sometimes. So it's interesting.
Yeah, well, how it started, Paul actually recommended your YouTube channel to me. What was it, about 6 months, a year ago, Paul? I think I've caught a couple of you.
Yeah, we were down with you in August, weren't we? We were all kind of looking at whether we booked trips, what was going on in Orlando. And I love the honesty of your videos. There's no dressing it up. If something isn't working, you are saying it straight. And that's what I love about your channel.
I appreciate that. I mean, generally speaking, I think like when you get into YouTube or social media, you get a lot of places that want to give you stuff, or I think, for a good chunk of people, they want to have that media access or something, because they want to have whatever perks and things. And we've kind of shied away from that over the years, because we want to be able to give a fair shake to things. So you could see 10 videos for one thing that's happened, and 9 of them will be gushing about like how awesome something is. And then, we want to be the ones that are saying, like, well, it could be awesome, but if it sucks, we want to tell you that it sucks, or, these are the things that you can improve about them. So,
I think the one that I brought to your attention, Mikey, was the Wilderness Lodge.
It was,
where you go out to the camp in there. And I distinctly remember the point of very early in the morning, you stood on the terrace there saying, listen, this could be brilliant, but these frogs keep you awake.
That was true.
The swamp.
I was up the whole night thinking, like, oh my God, like, when you get there, I'm like, wow, there's like a swampy type area back there. This is amazing. Like maybe there'll be gators or some other wildlife. And then you don't realize, like, this is the stuff that's keeping you up the entire night. Like, it was deafening, like as you're trying to sleep.
It was just brilliant because it was somewhere my wife and I had sort of looked at as, shall we go? And it was like, I think we'll stick with a hotel room. It might be quieter.
There's definitely a lot of pluses to the camping. We want to get back and actually like tent camp at Fort Wilderness also, but that experience was I think right after pandemic, like reopening, and the wildlife was up for sure, and the other, the big selling point, I guess, like when you have your camp or the table outside the door for barbecues or things like that, or cookouts, and the second the sun went down, I mean, it was like feasting for insects, so we had the candle going, we had the bug spray, and it was just, those are the things that don't make the brochure, I think,
Yeah. That was good, man. I liked it. I like the straight talking.
Well, your channel's definitely a great source for us. I mean, for I want to say, I expect for the 3 of us and a lot of other UK Magic fans, we all became fans by going to Orlando on holiday, catching games when we're there, and we've become avid fans since. And in a way, we're really lucky because you've got 29 other teams that people follow, but we're the ones lucky enough that when we go on holiday, we've got all the theme parks and everything else that we follow. And there's so much changes every time we go back. I mean, it's been 2 years since the three of us last went. So watching your channel and videos and stuff like that you do, it keeps us up to date with what's happening and what's changing. And you've got some great ideas and tips and stuff. So it's a good planning tool as well for us for when we come away.
Wow, such complimentary terms. I should just join you guys every week at this point. I mean, you've got the trooper bottle caps behind you also. And
yes, that's correct, mate. I thought you'd pick up on that. It's nothing compared to your collection, man. It's
right up the alley. I mean, we can't get enough trooper in the States here. You know, it's like, we like crave, like, you know, when is the Robinsons import going to come in, and you know, which distribution points are they going to hit so that we can try to glom them all before other people, you know.
Mate, I'll source you some of the caps and send them over because I've got plenty.
Awesome. You've got plenty of trivia, plenty of memorabilia and stuff behind you, which we're going to get into a little bit later. So we'll cover that a little bit later on. So how did you become a Magic fan, Kyle, for those who haven't seen any of your videos?
Sure. I grew up in Queens, New York. And, you know, if you were in New York, for the most part, you're supposed to be a Knicks fan. And I have an older brother that's 4 years older that was like hardcore Knicks. When I was much younger, I was more of a Lakers fan, which is kind of like the opposite of the Knicks. I would still say, you know, like Magic Johnson era and Magic himself is probably my second favorite player of all time. But when the Orlando Magic were introduced, they're initially, you know, they were the underdog, but they were the cool team. You know, they were in Orlando. And then when we got to like the mid 90s, I want to say like 94, 95, is when my family was planning to move to Central Florida. So we really started to amp up the interest. And then, you know, I think the game really changed when Shaq was introduced, you know, to the world and put on the big stage, and he's in Orlando. You know, that we were able to start going to, you know, my parents moved down before I did to Florida. So, you know, I was able to leverage them in their house to be able to stay at when the Magic were going through their runs with, you know, Shaq and Penny and Nick and stuff. So they were huge for me at that point. And they've still stayed that way, you know, and I think if you live in Orlando, there's a lot of fair weathered fans. And I think a lot of people that, you know, come into the state, whether it's the Magic or, you know, everybody, the world is a Bucks fan now, right? But they weren't for the last 20 years, you know, and it's kind of the same with the Magic, you know, where a lot of people that go to the arena are there for the opposing team, you know, but we had season tickets for years. And, you know, we just, it's just part of the fabric of what my family is, you know, like we love the Magic. I think coming from New York and liking at the, you know, growing up with like the Jets and the Mets and stuff like that, like we were used to just going to support teams to support the team, and not because you want to be part of, you know, the current winners, you know, or the bandwagon at the time. And, you know, the Magic certainly haven't put much on the court to be part of a bandwagon for, you know, any blocks of time, you know, for the recent past at least. So we stick with them. I still love going to the games. We don't have tickets anymore, you know, season tickets at least, but we did go to one of the games this season so far, which was a little awkward. We can talk about that if you want in a little bit, but they're just, you know, they're part of the cheap seats household life, you know, whether it's the Magic or the Buccaneers or the Lightning and stuff. So it's good to see teams win, but it, you know, you want to stay true to that team also throughout, you know, time.
Yeah, respect that.
Well, we're definitely going to touch on some of those points a little bit later. So I'm going to do a quick Magic roundup of the week's action, and then we're going to go back to Kyle for a few questions. So the Magic are 3 games into a 4-game West Coast road trip, which included a 106-97 loss to the Portland Trailblazers on Tuesday. We're already injury riddled. Cole Anthony left the game with a shoulder strain in the first half and didn't return. Al-Farouq Aminu, who made his first return since December 2018. Have I got that date right, guys? I believe. he played less than 5 minutes and was pulled out and didn't return for the rest of the game. And the Magic just didn't have an answer for Damian Lillard, Gary Trent Jr. or Melo in that game and fell short. And then on Thursday, they lost to the Golden State Warriors, 111-105. No Cole Anthony or Aminu. Frank Mason, who was our only point guard, left the game in the first quarter with a groin injury, and he didn't return. And we played the rest of the game without a point guard. There's another great effort, but a depleted roster just come up short in Golden State. And then last night we had an outstanding win, 123-112 against the Sacramento Kings. We saw the return of Michael Carter Williams. Vooch had another strong effort, 42 points. Mo Bamba played 14 minutes, which was good to see. The Magic shot over 50% from the field, and they hit 15 threes. So 3 games this week. The Magic currently 12th in the Eastern Conference, 10-17, tied for the 4th worst record in the NBA, which we all agree is largely down to the injuries that we've had. But the Kings game was just the 4th win in the last 19 games since Markelle Fultz went down. Notable injuries, obviously Fultz and Isaac are out for the season. Gordon's out for likely another 3 to 5 weeks with his ankle sprain. Fournier's out with back spasms, and we're not quite sure when he's going to return. And then we've got Cole Anthony, Frank Mason, James Ennis, and Al-Farouq Aminu are all listed day to day. So hopefully if we can get a couple of those guys back this week, then we can stay as competitive as we've seen the last few games. Guys, it's been another difficult week. We did win last night, but there's been a number of Magic players who've stood out this week. Paul, which players impressed you the most this week?
I suppose my timing stinks on this one because I was going with James Ennis. Fair play to the man. Do we actually run any plays for him? I think everything he gets, he does himself. He earns himself. Yep. His stats are steadily climbing. Double in Golden State. 10 points last night before he had to leave the game. Huge effort on both ends of the court. You can't applaud the guy enough. He was all hustle. I think it was summed up by the moment last night where he went and flicked the ball back in, retrieving the ball. It was completely lost, but it led to a Terrence Ross 3. That hustle is amazing. Dwayne Bacon. I've got to go with my namesake, haven't I, as well? Another guy who is doing a lot of what he's not normally expected to do. He's handling the ball a lot. Again, most of the points he's creating for himself through sheer strength. He had his season high against Golden State, I think 20 points. Yep. Scored really well last night. Having his best year in scoring, steals and rebounds, and he's just below his best for assists. So they're my guys. I'm going with those two. I think they've done really well. We could go with the obvious of Vooch, but we'll go with those two.
Kyle, have you had a chance to watch any of the games this week? I know it's been a West Coast trip, so the times are a little bit later.
Mate, yeah, here and there. I think I hate to echo like the obvious choice is Vooch, right? I feel like he's a man on an island at this point. There's not a lot of bright points to talk about. I think at this point, it's really. I'm not so much down on the Magic because I think that the Magic organization kind of serves up mediocrity. I think at this point, I still love the team, but I'd love to see them get beyond just putting a team on the court and hoping that people are going to go through the turnstile rather than trying to put an effort out there to actually win. Because I don't see that from the ownership at this point. Like they're not putting the superstars out there. They're not putting a team together. It's kind of like a random group of guys, right? Like pickup basketball. It's tough for me to see, what's their strategy? Can you tell me? Like it's not a big man strategy. Is the strategy just, hopefully we'll keep kicking the ball out and hit a 3 every so often, to try to catch us back into the game because
right.
there doesn't. And I understand it's also injuries, right? That's driving a lot of, the replacements on the squad, but there just doesn't seem to be an overall team strategy for the year.
There's not a direction. I mean, one of the things we've been talking about is the lack of superstar, which is what this team desperately needs, isn't it?
Yeah.
But so moving on, we'll move on from the from the games. One player we haven't talked about, Mo Bamba's obviously been a heated topic. He played 14 minutes last night, but nobody's really talking much about Chuma Okeke. G, have you been impressed by Chuma this week? He's going under the radar a little bit, but there's talk that he could slide into the starting lineup really for Gary Clark.
Yeah, Chuma's been superb. He's been, one of the bright spots this season, along with Cole Anthony. And we said at the beginning of, the season, we said, this is the developmental year really, where we thought we'd see more of Fultz, more of the younger players. So now, they've got the opportunity to play. We knew he could shoot if you watched his tapes from his time at Auburn, but his defense and his playmaking, that's really sort of starting to show through. There's an argument that you could start him, but he's not going to get plays called for him. As a rookie, you go out and get what you can get. So sticking him in the lineup with, a Terrence Ross, who's going to get the majority of shots, and then let Chuma, pick up the scraps, almost in that sort of like junkyard dog kind of role. Bit like Trevor Ariza, Robert Covington, players that are very useful for championship teams. So, let's just bring him along slowly, not expect too much, but no, he's surpassing what we all expected, I think, at the moment. Yeah,
I think we can all agree with that. Just a shameless plug before we go on. For those in the UK who follow us, obviously we're linked with the official NBA store in the UK, who've now got stock of the new Orange City Edition jerseys and the new black edition. They've had a restock of those. So if you click in the link of our description of the podcast or go onto our website, orlandomagicuk.com, you can go to the NBA store, grab your jerseys and stick in the discount code MAGICUK10 for 10% off. Moving on then. So Kyle, you've obviously got a whole host of different videos on your YouTube channel from Disney, Universal Studios. I think I've come across a few videos where you've collabed with a few other YouTubers like Jen and Tim Tracker, who are quite well known on YouTube. You've been to Magic draft parties. You saw Shaq get inducted into the Magic Hall of Fame. So you've been to some quite memorable moments on YouTube. What was your experience like at that Thunder game that you went to in January? Because obviously we've got all the COVID protocols and the reduced attendance at the Amway Center. What was that like?
Yeah, I was honestly surprised that they were running games in the arenas again. Of course, I think, Florida, maybe more so than other states, like it just seems like everything is open for business, and with the perception of safety theater, like, well, we put these other things in place and, hey, you're safe now. But theoretically, they have employed the use of the Clear app, which is also used, I think, for flying at this point within the States. Like, you just have to answer a questionnaire if you've been sick or things like that. And they're supposed to check your app. They didn't check ours, when we went through. So that was like kind of the first bummer, like, oh, they even reference it while you're in line, but then nobody took the time to like look. But there's no temperature check. There was no distancing in the lines for any of the stores or the merchandise or food items and things like that. And then when we were sitting in the seats, they do have like the mask police, what we want to call them, like the people with the signs, telling you to wear the masks. And I'm definitely all for safety. I had COVID back in September, so I definitely don't want that again. And I don't want to, would never want to wish it on other people. But, the people that sat to the right of us, full on like whole game, like no mask and just talking all around, everything. You're sitting there like, then we watch the Magic with the side of COVID. So it was a challenging experience. I think, I think I always say it's your mileage may vary because I do live in Florida, and it honestly seems, at least within the States at this point, it's kind of 50-50 with people that still think, COVID's kind of like a hoax versus it not, it being something to take seriously. So you could see like, half the audience that watch our channel are like, I can't, they're aghast. Like, I can't believe that you went to a Magic game, but I wanted to be able to show again, not only did we spent the whole last season watching them at Disney, right? I mean, or, half of the season.
Yeah.
You wanted to get back to, what you genuinely love. And the experience of watching them was great. It's just, it just, everything kind of just feels bizarre at this point, but they enhance their HVAC systems. So they tell you, like all these things are much more improved, but it doesn't seem like it's real. I think the television presentation is better than what the actual presentation is when you're there, because they have like stuff and, the cheer team or whatever, like all in the one section that was in the ozone up top, so it's like blocked off where you can't walk around that area. And that's where all the performances are, but they kind of make it look like it's much bigger, on TV than what it is. So.
And I think you said on the video that they were pumping in crowd noise, and when it wasn't
Yeah.
on, you could hear the air conditioning units and stuff like that.
it totally like, I know this was a rumor last year. I don't know if this is 100% true or not. Like when they played at Disney, my understanding was that they used the crowd noise from like NBA and was it 2K1?
2K, yeah,
to fill the game. It was that same noise, because when you only have, what at that point, like maybe like 3,000 fans in the arena, it's like you could hear a pin drop. You could literally hear the squeaks on the court and stuff, and then all of a sudden you get this noise until all of a sudden it's like that sound clip stops, and then you could hear like the air conditioning kick on, or like you could hear anything all around you. We had a friend, my buddy Drew, sat 2 rows in front of us and about 10 seats to the left, and you could carry on a conversation with them. That's how quiet it was inside.
Really, that's not great, is it?
Hence the NBA, the 2K crowd noise, I guess. They got to make it sound like, it's definitely, it's I guess it's like half sports, half entertainment production at this point, like movie or anything, to get that same feel of what you're supposed to be expecting. So it was better, at least being in person for for the one game than watching continual Disney basketball last year. I did like the presentation. I think they did a great job last year when they were playing at Disney, but it was great to be back in person for that one game to experience something. But then of course, like, the friendly Orlando Magic reps call you consistently, like, hey, how would you like to buy a package? And I'm like, I don't want to go back. Like, dude, I don't want to get sick, but I feel like I played my Vegas odds that one game. So
cool. So talking of experiences, Paul's got a few questions for you around Star Wars evening.
Yeah. I'm a huge Star Wars fan. I'm that generation where 1977, the starships coming over, it's always stayed with me.
Yeah.
One of the things I've always wanted to do is get to the Star Wars weekend at Disney Hollywood Studios, but obviously the Magic have their own Star Wars night, and I know that you've been to it. What's it like? Is it just really cheesy, or is it worthwhile going to?
So when the Magic do the Star Wars night, they generally, I guess they get in touch with like the 501st or the Rebel Legion and stuff like that. So it's the fan cosplay groups, that are affiliated with the Star Wars product, and they'll come out for meet and greets. They do like little things in between the timeouts and stuff. To me, it's a lot of fun. So they tried to bake in, Star Wars night, not only for the basketball games, but they have it for the baseball games here, and even some of the minor league baseball games. And then they did it, they have it for hockey as well. So it's all kind of the same thing with like, take a picture with R2D2 or the Stormtroopers and, stuff like that. And then, trivia contests. And I think it's if you're a fan of both, for sure, you can't beat that time. It's a lot of fun.
Cool. I just wonder, because you see the little skits that are done Dante wise on the screen, and it's like, I don't know whether I enjoy this or not. So you're the only person I know that's been to one. So I really wanted to find out what and as a Star Wars fan yourself, as to what your thoughts were. So yeah, that's interesting.
Fun. I mean, it's chocolate and peanut butter, right? Like it's two great things together that you get to enjoy. I mean, with Star Wars, you have to be able to accept a little bit of the cheesiness, as a fan of Star Wars over the years.
Yeah, absolutely. Talking about going to games, what's your favorite locations for pre-game and tips for making the most of things pre-game down in Orlando?
For pre-game for the Magic, we tend to like to go to Hamburger Mary's. To me, they're some of the best hamburgers in Orlando. And it's literally like right down the block on Church Street, so you can sit and have a few beers and have your burgers and whatever, and then wander off the block to the game. Some of the stuff on Church Street, like I think places have gone out of business and they keep coming, or places replacing them. But I'd say, at least for us, like the place to go before the games is usually Hamburger Mary's.
I think we hit Harry Buffalo's last time, didn't we?
Yeah, Garrett needed his beer.
Yeah, I've only had a beer in that place. I've never had food there, and the last time that we went up past there, I think they may have been closed for the last go around. Not permanently, but just that day.
We just all grabbed pizzas, didn't we, once we were there? I think, if memory serves me right.
I can't remember I had that many beers, to be honest.
Pre-game stuff. I know that before gigs you've done the Maiden Trooper party, and you did the a Kiss concert. You went to a dining experience beforehand. Have you ever considered, or have you done any of the Magic ones, like the Ultimate Lounge or Jernigan's or anything like that?
Yeah, so we've done Jernigan's in the past. We actually, I think Mary just showed me pictures that I think that was probably like 6 years or so ago, or maybe longer, that we did Jernigan's, that they had like the open buffet beforehand, and bar service and stuff. I remember from that time, like the food was phenomenal. Like it was a fantastic experience. And since that time, we've tried to go back there multiple times, and it seems like it's always sold out. We're at capacity by the time that we decide that we want to go. But I'm not sure. I don't think that they offer it now during COVID, but it was certainly well worth the price when we did that. The Kiss stuff out in the other Ultimate Lounge I've never done, by the way. Like the super high end stuff. Like the only time that I was down in that area was when we bought when we had season tickets. We had them initially when the arena was opening, and they took you through like tours of the areas, and that was kind of like, I better shoot pictures of this stuff now because I'll probably never be able to afford to come back in here again, But the Tampa arena has similar things. They have like a place to eat downstairs, which was kind of like right outside the locker rooms. And then when we ate for Kiss, I can't remember the name of the restaurant, but it was again like buffet type thing. And I think there's times, if like whether it's Jernigan's or it was like the place that we ate it for Kiss, if they're kind of banging you out like maybe $60 or something to eat, you got to figure, if you were going to eat on the streets, leading up to the thing at maybe like a local pub or, whatever food options there are around the arenas, like you're probably going to still pay like $20-$30 for something that's not as good as what you're getting at the arena to begin with. So we don't do it all the time, but like the food for the Kiss show, I mean, we were fully loaded on awesome food and beverages and stuff ready for, Kiss for the night. And same thing at Jernigan's. I mean, it was just phenomenal. We also did, like when we did the Shaq Hall of Fame night, we sat in the seats that we had like a little bar table just for the two of us, 2 seats and a little round table. And it was like unlimited food and drinks for the night. So that was phenomenal also, and I normally, I know I teared up, and I've said this in the video, like, I'll take the hit, like my guy cred, like Shaq getting inducted. I was like, that's my favorite player of all time, so you have man tears, but it may have been aided from some of the beverages from the night also sitting there.
Or the spices from the food.
Yeah, I will go with that.
If you don't know, Carl, G's a massive Bucks fan, and obviously you've had the Super Bowl in Tampa this week. So G's got a few questions around the Bucks just winning the Super Bowl.
Yeah, well, firstly, it's nicely to have another Buccaneer on, so that's good. So with the Super Bowl in Tampa this year, what's the atmosphere been like in Central Florida? I mean, I've watched your videos, so I've seen all the stuff. But if you just tell our listeners, that'd be great.
Yeah, it's interesting being a Bucks fan in the Orlando area, because we've got the Dolphins that are in South Florida, obviously in Miami, and you have the Jags up in Jacksonville. And honestly, I think probably prior to the Bucks making their run for the Super Bowl this year, you couldn't find a Buccaneers shirt or like any merch like anywhere locally. And that's usually like one of the questions we get from people that are coming over, from the UK and everything. Like, hey, where can we find Buccaneers stuff, or where can we find this? And like, NFL shop, that's probably like the best place to go, because they, in the stores here, despite the Dolphins being like 3 hours plus away, they'll have Dolphin stuff in the store, or they would have Jaguar stuff, and you're like, dude, the Bucks are like 70 to 90 minutes away from Orlando. This is nuts. But the atmosphere got hyped up. Again, everybody's a Bucks fan now. I know from the years on social media, I could probably count on my hand or less, the people that I know that were genuine fans over time. But the feeling in Tampa, we made a couple trips out there. It was electric, like the Tampa area supports their teams more so than, again, like I said, even like with the Magic, fans come and go with, whoever's, if the Magic aren't winning, people aren't showing up. If the Bucks aren't winning, people are still there, and the city, whether it's the Lightning, where people think like, Tampa is not a hockey town, like that arena is packed for the Lightning. They're all about it. And the same thing with the Bucks, especially having the Super Bowl in town. Although I would say, ironically, like the last, I went out to Tampa the Friday before the Super Bowl, just to walk around the city and shoot video of like, what things are looking like. There were an awful lot of Chiefs fans that were in town, which you would imagine like people were going to be traveling here anyway for destination for Super Bowl. But, it was phenomenal. I didn't go to the parade, so that's where I had to draw the line, because I knew that like after the game, it was total maskless celebration, and, people bunched up together, and the stuff that we saw from the parade online, when it did happen, like they were 10, 15 people deep and nobody wearing anything. So I was like, not the place to be for me, at least. But this has been a dream year. If we can get the Magic to actually, win, then, we can have the trifecta, and I could say like, I could be done with sports. I don't have to worry about anything anymore.
Absolutely. But you did go and see if you could find Gronk, didn't you? I did see that video last night.
I did. So before, I had my obsession with the like sports teams locally every year. I think, this is the same thing, like when we did like the Magic video in 2020, maybe it was 2019, like when the season started. Again, I sit there every year and I say like, there's no reason why this team shouldn't be the best team. The Magic are the best team in the world, like that they should win the championship this year. And then you go through the year and you're like, oh God, and it was the same, like when they came out, like, out of the gate this year, I was like, oh my God, look at the Magic are undefeated. This is unbelievable. We're going to do it. And then reality sits in. But with the Bucks, from the point of their last game from the last season, it was just there where I was like, the frustration is over the top at this point. Like they just need somebody to lead them to the championship, and it wasn't Jameis Winston. At that point, when they got Brady, I knew like the game over. We have the championship, and you can make reservations for Disney X amount of time out. So I want to say like more than a month ago, when the playoff run was starting, I was like, I'm going to just happen to book that day, like after the Super Bowl, because I'm pretty sure we're going to be there, and I kept trying to like not blow myself up on social media by saying like, hey, I booked the day here, like this is going to happen. And then, the 2 days before the Super Bowl, Disney was like, oh, we're not having a parade, no matter who wins or anything. But I was like, I'm going to keep that day anyway, and then they had the confusion where they said, well, Brady is not going to be there, but Gronk is going to be there, and he's going to be visiting his favorite attractions, etc. And they didn't do the greatest job at crowd control because it was packed in, around like the hub area at Disney, also with people hoping that Gronk was coming out. And then the word was there, like, the rumor mill on social media, especially when you're in the park, is growing like, Michael Jordan's here, because Jordan has his race car at Daytona. So Jordan's here and Gronk is here, and the word is Brady may be coming too, and Levante is here, and all these. And I was like, oh my God, this is amazing! Like I'm just going to stand here now, and I stood in a place like an idiot for like 2.5 hours waiting to try to see like a glimpse of Gronk, and he never, they never came out. He literally was behind a gate on top of a float and turned around for a couple of minutes to just like wave, and that was satisfying for everybody. But to me, I was like, you walk away and I'm like, I just can't believe like what level of fandom have I hit here, that I to see this guy turn around and wave. But it was part of the excitement.
Yeah, no, cool. So for any UK Magic fans visiting Orlando, it was really useful to sort of note that you could get a bus to Raymond James Stadium. I didn't know that, and it was always one of my concerns because I want to go and watch the Buccaneers at Ray J. I've only seen them play at Lambeau before. Where's the best place to sit when you get to Raymond James?
Now that they've won the Super Bowl again, I would almost say like the best place to sit is going to be wherever you can actually find tickets, because I can imagine, like it's a competition for people to try to get in. Obviously, like I would say 50-yard line is a great place to sit, but when we selected our season seats for the Bucks, we're actually sitting diagonally across from the pirate ship, so we could be by the tunnel where they come out of. So you're kind of part of that excitement. But then when the pirate ship does that, its thing with the cannons and stuff, we're able to see it from like across the field, because we tend to end up usually always being by the ship. And then when that thing goes off, if you haven't been to the Bucks before, I mean it's pretty deafening. Or the people that have not been to Raymond James, those are the guys that you want to watch, when the Bucks are in the red zone or they score, because like when the cannons go off, these people are like ducking, like there's a massive gunshot happening here or something. But I'd say 50-yard line, or our original season tickets for the Bucks were like, we sat up like next to Jesus. Like, I mean, we couldn't, there were 2 rows behind us in the 300 section, up above, and we were close to the 50-yard line. But for me, I'd rather be lower bowl and be closer to the action. And I don't care if you're in the end zone and you're watching out, it kind of has that Madden feel to it.
Yeah, I did see the video when you went with your brother with the Carolina, and he's a Carolina Panthers fan, isn't he? And that was by the pirate ship, and the Panther fans didn't particularly like the gunshots, did they?
Yeah, they ducked like almost every time, and that was a fun time. I brought, the Panthers have a traveling team, a traveling thing that they go to every game. So he buys in every so often and gets to get on the bus, and they stay wherever near the stadiums that they're playing at, and had the ability to like buy extra tickets for people. So I was sitting in there. It was almost like you're at your home stadium, but I'm sitting with the enemy, and they were all great, joking around beforehand, because they knew like, hey, the Buccaneers suck and we're going to trample you guys. And, when things turned around and the Panthers were going in the opposite direction, it became a little bit more hostile, where people weren't exactly, that friendly and jovial throughout the loss. So, but it was hilarious to me to watch these guys that have been drinking and they haven't been to the stadium before, and the Bucks, continually making the cannons go off.
Yeah.
I mean, it's deafening,
Yeah, cool. Last one for me, and I touch on the Bucks and the Magic. Have you gone to any road games in the NBA or the NFL? And could you make any recommendations of any arenas to, or cities to visit?
Yeah. So if I travel, sometimes if I travel for day work or things, or even if we just travel ourselves, like whether it's been baseball or football or, basketball or hockey, we've kind of we try to go to the arenas that we've been to, within the areas if it coincides. One of the best places, at least for hockey, was out in Las Vegas with the Golden Knights. The presentation and the game day experience was just phenomenal. For basketball, I actually went out to Atlanta last year. It was just right at like the same time too, like right before COVID hit. And the game day experience I thought in Atlanta was just fantastic also, from like outside in the streets with street entertainment to the presentation inside. They even had like a barber shop inside of the arena, in Atlanta. Like, I just thought it was a great experience the whole way around. They had a huge craft bar area also.
Nice.
Craft beer.
What made the experience different to the Amway Center at the Hawks game?
I thought it to me, I mean, it wasn't sterile. I think the Amway experience is a little bit more, kind of sterile, and the craft beer section was great. The team store inside I thought was really well presented. The viewpoints, similar to, I think, like Emily, where, the Magic tried to hit on things at Amway with the open areas for the bars where you could just stand, like whether in the ozone area and stuff, or the Budweiser baseline area. In Atlanta, that open area was in like the center of the arena, so you have a much better view of everything. I mean, you could literally like sit right behind where the people are doing play-by-plays and the cameras are going and stuff like that. So presentation wise, I mean, if you buy a cheap ticket and you're able to stand like right in that center area, I mean, you can't beat it. It was fantastic.
Yeah, that's good. That's good planning there. I know you were raving about it on the video. Absolutely, really impressed by the place.
Yeah.
Well, you broke up there for a second, Paul. I'm sorry.
Okay, I was saying that I know on the video you were really, really impressed at the place. Really enjoyed the night, the experience of that one.
Yeah, I thought it was great. Even the food was great there too. So they had no, I can't think of, like Zach Brown Band has a barbecue place within the Atlanta arena. I can't even remember the name of the arena. If it was at Allstate, or maybe it's probably not Allstate.
State Farm, I think it's called.
State Farm. Yeah, that's the other thing, that it's like so confusing with all of these corporate branding things. But like the barbecue place was phenomenal downstairs, and the fans were very welcoming too. Obviously I didn't go there. It wasn't a Magic game either, so I can't even remember who the Hawks were playing at that point. But I didn't go brandishing like Atlanta Hawks stuff or anything like that while I was there. But the fans are very welcoming. It's just a great overall experience, I think.
Cool.
You got one more question, Paul?
Yeah, if you've got time for it.
Yeah, go for it.
Excellent. I've watched the videos, Kyle, of your incredible collections of rock memorabilia, Marvel, Star Wars, horror movie stuff. Do you have any Magic basketball stuff as well, tucked away somewhere?
Yeah, I do. So you guys give me the tip off of like, what do you want to look at? I was like, oh my God, what can I bring into this room that like not disrupting the other stuff? Not because I do have like some team balls and stuff like that signed too, but I have a couple of things that they're probably not overwhelming, like phenomenal things, but things that I thought were cool. Like this was like a giveaway. It's unfortunately like the closest we're going to get to.
It's been a while.
Right. And this thing is ridiculous. You guys can laugh, but this literally has been sitting in the collection for more than like 30 years now. Shaq Candy bar.
I missed the big bar. Love that.
That's brilliant.
We go to different levels of, this was the other great hope for Orlando for a while, right? Dwight Howard.
Remember that
CD, and we have it autographed. Like we went to Best Buy to meet up with Dwight to have him, he was like signing stuff, and I had a great picture that I had shot from like the upper deck of him dunking on Kevin Durant. And like he was more obsessed with that like stopped the line, like, oh my God, like where did you take this shot? Do you have a copy? And can we get the, but Dwight still like, and this, it would be like the last thing. I thought this was pretty cool, right? So this is a glass from their opening day at the arena. And we had picked this up when the arena was being shut down. They had like whatever was left in like garage sale type area, like just auctions, where you could bid on stuff. And I was like, oh, let's bid on this thing, because it kind of represents history. So I thought that was super cool.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah,
we all have
time, like one of the things you could have bid on with, they had like a literal like stack that was like this big of Shaq autographs that was on a pad, like black and white. And I was like, oh, we should bid on the Shaq autographs. And my wife's like, no, do you need like 100 Shaq autographs, or do you need like one Shaq autograph? And I was like, oh, we could piece them off and sell them. I was like, oh, that's too difficult. You're right. Like, just forget about the Shaq autographs. We'll go with the glass.
We all have loads of little different bits. I mean, I think I've kept every small item that I've ever picked up in the arena, from be it the free flannels to the ticket stubs. I've got all those, and I've got all the programs and then any giveaway that they're given, including all the Bam Bams from different games. It's very, very sad, the level of fandom that we can get to.
Yeah, I had in the garage, I didn't bring it in here, like during the playoff run, when we went to the finals, I had sat in the seats like right under the basket at one point, and I had texted, we knew who, we were friends with Stuff at the time, and Stuff was kind enough to come and deliver like a flag to like, wave, like this massive 3x5 type flag, under the basket. And this was prior to the channel and everything. And we had some choice words with LeBron when we were playing. He was part of the Cavs at that point and stuff with the flag, but that's out in the garage. And I'm with you. I mean, I save whatever there's stuff that just goes on the shelf. Like we have the confetti, I think, for when streamers, when the Magic won the East that year, so that's jammed in the display shelves as well. So I'm a pack rat just like that. So we'll just pick up everything.
Yeah.
That's great.
Is phenomenal. I love the Star Wars stuff. Love the
Star Wars stuff is great too. That when you were just talking before, I was like, oh no, like I hope we don't go into Star Wars stuff, because I didn't pick any of that stuff out. But
no, man, no. You've covered that so well on the videos. I'm not going to get you to go right around the house showing everything again.
Yeah, with the stuff, we did a video, like everybody kept asking for a long time, hey, you should show off your collection, and then when you show off your collection, I went through like, probably like 75%. Then I had like, I mean, we probably lost like 70, plus subscribers, because people were like, oh, well, way to like, flaunt everything. Like, you're a jerk for like, so much stuff. So I was like, you can't win. Like, these other people were asking like to show stuff.
That's what you did. And that was it. Last question, Carl, before we wrap up the last bit of the show. Obviously your channel's about getting a great experience without spending without spending much money, and obviously cheap seats and things like that. Have you got any advice or tips for anybody of more specifically Magic games, but how you get, I think you went to the opening night last year and you got really cheap last minute seats behind the basket. Like what's your tips on doing things like that?
Yeah, it's great that you remembered more than I did at that point. Like opening day last year, I looked for a single seat, which is usually more difficult to find, like on resale sites. But there was a guy who had season tickets, and the person that normally sat with him couldn't go. So we ended up getting tickets, I think I want to say like less than 50% of what the price was. So usually like the last minute tickets are the cheaper tickets. But I say this almost in like every video that we do with the Magic game. Like, if you buy an upper bowl ticket, and I'm not a big fan of Amway Center, mind you. Like, I think Amway Arena. Am I getting it backwards? Amway, Yeah, Amway Arena, the old arena, I think was a lot smaller and a more intimate and better experience for watching the game. But Amway Center, you could buy the cheapest ticket and stand, if you get there early enough, you could stand right at the railing for the Budweiser bar, and you have a phenomenal seat, or place to watch the game. So, you could always find upper tickets on resale sites for, as possibly as cheap as like $5 at times, so for $5 or $10, you can get into the game and watch. You can't do it this season because for COVID, they've blocked that area off and they don't want people standing next to each other. But, we'll fast forward to people having vaccinations and, next year. That's the greatest tip I think to have is, get there early and, hang out and enjoy the party in the end zone, or the end zone, the basket area. So
that's great advice, because we're actually, I might ask you off air for some more tips one day, because we're actually in the middle of building a Visit in Orlando page for our website. So we always get asked questions by people traveling from the UK. A lot of them haven't even been to a game. So we're going to answer questions to do with how do you get to the arena and buying tickets and stuff like that. So some of that we can definitely add in there.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, brilliant. So moving on, our next episode we're going to be recording is on Monday, the 22nd of February. So we've got 4 games before that. If you guys, we're going to do a quick preview, but if you haven't checked out Paul's pre-game previews, they're probably as in-depth as you're going to read, and they're great. So head to the website on game days and you can read Paul's stuff there. So the Magic played the Suns on Sunday evening, which is a 2 a.m. tip-off for us in the UK. Paul?
Yeah, the Phoenix Suns, 15-9 on the season, 4th in the West, 14th on offense, 7th on defense, and playing quite well at home. They've won 8 of 12 so far. 4-game winning streak. They are playing on the second night of a back-to-back, though. The good news is we have had a good record against them on the road. We've won 3 of the last 4. They do have injuries to 3 important players: Dario Saric, Cameron Payne, and Abdul Nadar. So we'll see where we go with that.
Cool. And then we've got the Knicks on Wednesday, which is a midnight tip-off, who are 12-15. They're 10th in the Eastern Conference. They're 7-9 on the road, which included a game against the Washington Wizards last night. They've only really got 2 main injuries, which is Frank Ntilikina, who's out with COVID protocols, and Mitchell Robinson, who left last night's game with a fractured wrist. So he's going to be out likely this week. They're 30th in points per game, the worst offense in the league, but they're 2nd in defensive rating. So I'd expect a similar game to what we had in January, which was quite a low scoring game. The Magic have won 4 out of the last 5 at home against the Knicks, including the last 3. And then after that, we got the Warriors on Friday.
Yep. More of the same, I'm guessing. They are 14-12, 8th in the West. We know that the 20th on offense and 6th in defense. We saw how well organized the defense was the other night. On the road, not quite so strong, 5-7 this season. They're on a 2-game winning streak. Last 2 seasons, each team has won on their home court, which obviously the Warriors did again the other night. Prior to that, the Warriors had won 11 straight games against Orlando. The injuries that I spoke about before this game this week are still present. Klay Thompson, Marquise Chris are both definitely going to be out. Kevon Looney is definitely out, but James Wiseman could be returning. It's just on the very cusp of his 7 to 10 days of being out. So you never know. We could see the number 1 pick back to play against us. I'm hoping not.
Absolutely, especially if we want to win. And then we finish with the Pistons, which I think is the first 2 back-to-back games against them, which is next Sunday at midnight, so just over a week's time.
Yeah, you've got it. So it's game 1 of the home and home series. The times we move back to 7 Eastern from 6 Eastern, so that's a midnight tip, as Mikey's just said. The Pistons stand at 7-19 in the East, good for 14th. They're currently 2-11 on the road. They've got a number of injuries. Sekou Doumbouya, Frank Jackson, Mason Plumley are all day-to-day, and 2 key injuries in Jaleel Okafor is out 6 to 8 weeks, as is Killian Hayes. They rank 24th in offense, scoring 108.4 points a game, and 21st in defense, surrendering 113. The Magic and Pistons haven't played this season, but split the season series last year 1-1 before COVID took the other games away from us. And all time in 112 games, the Magic have won 48 to Detroit's 64.
Wicked. So predictions this week then, boys. So we got wrap up the West Coast road trip at the Suns before we got the Knicks, Warriors and Pistons. I'm going to send this over to Kyle this week. Predictions on the week, how many wins, losses? This is the one bit of the week that I'm not very good at. I haven't got one right this season, so.
I always think the Magic are going to win. I never
4-0.
That's why we're not very good at this, because we keep thinking that we're going to win.
This is the, hence the rose-colored glasses type thing. Like I just always think that they're going to win, but yeah, you just have to go straight Magic.
So you're going 4-0. I like it.
They something's got to happen. We've got to get some momentum here. They won last night, right? I mean, maybe Vooch scores 60 points next game.
We've only had, I think there's only been myself predict the first week 4-0. So, Kyle, it's 100% record so far on 4-0. So, good man. I love the confidence.
Paul, what are you going with? Are you sticking with 4-0 as well?
No, mate. I am going more positive than last week, though. I'm going 2-2. Phoenix Suns, Chris Paul, Devin Booker, DeAndre Ayton, Mikal Bridges. I'm not sure we've got enough to do against them. Knicks, we should win. Probably they've got better depth than us at the moment with our injuries, but I still think we should win. Warriors, if we can't stop Steph Curry, it's more of the same. And the Pistons, I still think we should win that one. Perhaps Blake Griffin and Jeremy Grant could hurt us, but yeah, I think we beat them 2-2.
Geraint?
Well, firstly, you haven't mentioned I got it right last week.
No, you both did, didn't you? Hey?
Yeah.
I thought we'd skip over that bit.
I thought you would. Anyway, I'm going 1-3, beating the Pistons. The Knicks are playing very well at the moment. The Suns on the road, and we're down a lot of bodies. No, the Warriors, Steph Curry will probably just go off on us again. So 1-3.
I'm also going to go 1-3. Yeah, same as you guys. I think the Pistons game's the one we win and drop the other 3. Cool. That wraps up this week's episode. Kyle, it's been a pleasure to have you on. There's so much more we could talk about, but we obviously want to be respectful of your time. So hopefully we can have you on again sometime in the future.
This has been awesome. This has really been great.
Cool. And so we got a winning week. Hopefully this week, get some players back in off of the injury list, and we'll see how this week plays out. Hopefully a more positive week in the Magic Kingdom. So go Magic.